This is ridiculous. Where is everyone?
We did arrive unannounced, Commander.
And when the Arkans arrive unannounced, will they too stroll aboard this Unity station without any response from our so-called allies?
They are not Romulans. The Commander still has his cough.
I've had it ever since Zenitron Beta. Too many fires on the bridge. I inhaled too much smoke.
And the surgeon?
The surgeon gives me little vials of liquid, which do nothing. I get more relief from my grandmother's herbal tea.
Such is often the case. Someone is coming, Commander.
Excuse me, sirs, but you can't...
Don't sir me. I am Vrellic, commander of the 13th Fleet. This is my adjutant, Centurion Tokal. You will address us in a manner appropriate to our ranks.
Of course, sir. But this is a restricted area. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave...
Restricted? Unity Station is in Romulan space. How can any corner of Romulan space be restricted to a commander of the Home Guard? Show me what those people are doing up there.
They're laying ODN conduits on the upper level. You shouldn't go there, Commander. Safety protocol states that... Oh my... Sick bay. Medical emergency in Shuttle Bay 5.
Don't just stand there, you little idiot! Help me get this off him!
Oh, medic. Thank goodness.
Stand aside, please.
What are you doing to him?
That will stabilize his condition. We have to get him to the infirmary.
Shay?
I didn't catch that.
What did he just say?
It sounded like...
Klingon? What have you done to my adjutant?
Hidden Frontier Productions presents Henglaar, M.D., starring John Whiting as Dr. Henglaar, Heather Ashley as Silan, Jeannie Lynn as Dr. Vonus, Timothy Fritz as Dr. Lucas Noah, and Mark Samarius as Dr. Profter. Episode 104, Good with Words. Story by Mark Painter. Audio play by Mark Painter with David W. Hill and John Whiting. Directed by David W. Hill.
Good morning, everyone. Henglaar, what do you have for us today?
Okay, now that we're all here, we can begin. We've just received a patient from Unity Station. Traumatic brain injury.
What happened?
He was standing in the wrong place when someone dropped a deck plate.
Don't they have safety protocols over there?
They do, but the patient is a Romulan. His name is Tokal, and he's the adjutant to one Vrellic, who is commander of the 13th Fleet, whatever that is. It seems this Vrellic took it upon himself to make a surprise inspection and blundered into a construction zone.
What's the injury?
Subdural hematoma.
Why bring him here? The hospital aboard Unity Station is fully operational.
Dr. Shrell already performed surgery, but there were complications. She asked us to take over.
Complications?
First, the surgery failed to stabilize his condition. His autonomic functions are becoming dangerously irregular.
Romulan autonomic functions are more dependent on the brain than is the case with most humanoids.
Just like Vulcans.
And there's more, but I think you need to see this for yourselves. This is Centurion Tokal. He is male, Romulan, age 27. Say hello to the nice doctors, Tokal.
If Tilhi.
What was that?
Fascinating.
It sounds like Klingon.
It is Klingon, as far as anyone can tell.
Why aren't we using the universal translator?
We are. Apparently it's not as universal as we thought.
I shall examine it.
Sokeg ta'a? Ne petok.
That sure sounds like Klingon to me.
We should get a real Klingon to listen to a recording of this. I heard we have a Klingon doctor in Starfleet. His name is Kukul, and he's on the Angeles. Did I say something wrong?
Kukul is Henglaar's ex-fiance's husband.
Ouch. Awkward moment.
Do you people actually treat the injured?
Hey, I understood that.
Or does someone pay you to dress like doctors and stand around for the sake of appearances?
I broadened the parameters on the universal translator. It appears that the language he is speaking is a dialect, not standard Klingonese.
Centurion, do you remember the accident?
I was in a shuttle bay of your Unity station. Something fell on me. That's all I remember. Did you say Klingon?
How do you feel? Are you in pain?
Are you certain you're doctors? Of course I'm in pain.
Nurse 3 cc's hydrocortisone.
Got it.
Ah, at least one of you is a doctor.
Centurion, you've suffered a serious brain injury. You've already had surgery to stabilize your condition.
But your condition hasn't stabilized. We don't know why.
And we've noticed that since the accident, you've begun speaking Klingon instead of Romulan.
Klingon? I'm speaking Klingon?
Have you ever studied the Klingon language?
Never.
And you can't speak Romulan?
How about this?
That's also Klingon. If you'll excuse us, Centurion, we need to confer. Our nurse will assist you if you need anything. Doctors? So, what do you think?
He is lying.
Not to be judgmental or anything.
There is no other logical explanation.
What reason would he have to lie to us? We're trying to help him.
Romulans do not lie for reasons. They simply lie.
I agree that he's lying. A blow to the head couldn't cause a patient to spontaneously speak an unfamiliar language. Romulans don't like Klingons very much. If our patient had contact with Klingons, he'd have good reason to keep quiet about it.
It doesn't matter. We're his doctors, not his inquisitors. The loss of his ability to speak Romulan could be Wernicke's aphasia resulting from the brain trauma.
But how does he retain the ability to speak Klingon?
Children acquire language through a different mechanism. The information is stored differently in the brain. We can forget a language we learned as an adult. It's much harder to lose a childhood language.
You're suggesting that Klingon is his native tongue?
Why not?
Well, he denies it.
That could be a deception.
You two are unbelievable. Because he's Romulan, you assume we can't trust him? This team was created to work with the Romulans. Now we have our first Romulan patient. Is this really the precedent you want to set?
Put the language issue aside for a moment and consider his other symptoms. His neurological state continues to deteriorate in spite of what appears to have been successful surgery.
Perhaps there is more than the trauma.
Such as?
An underlying neurological condition.
Lucas, do a neurological workup on him. Stat.
If he had an underlying neurological condition, wouldn't the Home Guard already know about it?
Dr. Shrow requested his medical records. The Romulans refused to provide them.
We'll need his medical records for a baseline. Otherwise, my workup may not be worth much.
Get started anyway. I'll see what I can do about the records.
Right.
Vanis, you monitor the patient for pain management. Profto?
Yes?
Tell Salon that I want to talk to her.
Oh, right.
You wanted to see me?
Your interview with Dr. Gozat is this afternoon.
I know, I didn't forget.
That isn't what I meant. It's just that there are a few things you should know about him. He's the highest-ranking medical officer in the Beta Quadrant Defense Force.
I know. He's Bolian, right? They're pretty laid back.
Not this one. Gozat's something of a stickler. Make sure you're on time.
Punctual. Got it.
You'll need his recommendation to get into Starfleet Medical.
Grovel a little. Got it.
Gozat and I have some history. He doesn't like me very much.
Pretend I don't know you. Got it.
I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
Really? I thought you were trying to make me nervous. Mission accomplished, by the way.
Tone it down a little. Let him find out what a sparkling wit you have after he's written the recommendation.
I joke when I'm nervous.
Henglaar!
Profto, do you understand what doors are for?
Sorry, but Captain Karsten is here with...
I am Vrelick, commander of the 13th Fleet. Which one of you is Henglaar?
I am.
I think Dr. Vaughnus just called me.
Henglaar, Commander Vrelick wants to discuss something.
Enough. I can speak for myself. Dr. Henglaar, the most vicious rumors are circulating through the Home Guard. Some already say that a Klingon agent has been operating undetected at my side. Due to my incompetence, they say.
And this concerns me because...
I have announced to my fleet that the individual in your sickbay has been determined to be a Klingon agent surgically altered to resemble a Romulan and recently substituted for Tokal. Your report will corroborate this.
I'm a little old-fashioned, Commander. I draw my conclusions after the investigation.
You are in Romulan space. I am the ranking officer present. You will follow my orders.
You are not my superior officer.
Very well. Captain Karsten, you will order your officer to do as I say.
Commander, you might not be aware of how Starfleet works. Even I can't override Dr. Henglaar on a medical matter.
Commander Vrelick, the patient is Romulan. Genetic scans confirm that.
Your scans are irrelevant. I have told you what to report.
Why do you want Henglaar to say he's a Klingon?
So that we can say the Centurion was recently killed and replaced with a Klingon agent, and that I discovered the deception before any harm was done to the Empire. That way, my reputation, the reputation of the 13th Fleet, will not be tarnished.
Commander, Dr. Henglaar, surely we can come to an understanding. And Henglaar, don't call me Shirley.
Maybe you can do something for me in return.
You bargain like a Ferengi.
The Centurion's medical records. So far, your fleet has refused to provide them. We need those records to properly treat our patient. I would also need them to document the conclusion you want me to make, that the patient in our sickbay isn't the same man who's been serving under you for the past 2 years.
As long as we have an understanding.
I believe we understand each other perfectly.
Very well. I'll see to it at once.
You could be a little more tactful, Henglaar.
And you could show a little more backbone, Stu. Where does this guy get the right to come aboard your ship and park orders at your crew?
He never mentioned the Centurion's name. Not even once. Or asked how he was doing.
Captain Gozat, I'm Salon.
Well, you're on time. That's a good start.
Thanks.
But you should address me as Commodore Gozat.
I'm sorry, I was told you were Captain Gozat.
I am. But since I am not the commander of this vessel, I am called Commodore.
You get a promotion because you aren't in command?
It is a human naval tradition.
So, like, that means the rest of us are stuck with it?
I suppose, but we're not here to discuss naval traditions, are we?
I suppose not.
So you're interested in Starfleet Medical?
That's right.
And you need my recommendation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me why I should give it to you.
Well,
tell me about yourself.
Me? Well, I've been working as a nurse for my uncle, Henglaar.
Good, good. Why nursing?
That's a really good question, actually.
Take your time. I have all the time in the universe.
I have the results of the neurological examination. Our patient has Leuchter encephalitis.
Nasty. How bad is it?
Look at this scan. Viral RNA detected throughout the brain tissue.
So, when Dr. Shrell performed surgery for the hematoma, she
spread the virus throughout his brain and made a bad situation much worse. Of course, she had no idea.
Because the Romulans wouldn't give her his medical records.
I got you those records, Lucas. Did you look at them?
Yes. The Home Guard gave him a neurological exam 3 months ago. No trace of the Leuchter virus detected. And that's impossible. He had to have been infected well before that to have reached such an advanced stage by now.
He faked the exam.
Maybe he was trying to cover up the infection.
It's more than that, Henglaar. My scans show that our patient has 3 scarred ribs. It looks to me as if they were fractured when he was 10 to 12 years old. But his medical records show no scarring. And our patient is 1.5 centimeters taller than the person described in those files.
I got a reply from Dr. Kukal regarding the patient's language. He's speaking an agrarian dialect of Klingon, most commonly found on certain colony planets near the Romulan border.
His records are forgeries, and he's probably lying to us as well.
Good old Lucas, the last one to arrive at staff meetings, and the last one to arrive at a conclusion.
How do we find out the truth?
We ask him. Centurion, we need to talk. Assuming you are a Centurion.
Of course I'm a Centurion.
It's hard to be sure, since everything else in your service record appears to be a fabrication. You've been concealing your Klingon heritage, and your condition.
What condition?
You know perfectly well. Leuchter encephalitis. You faked your last medical exam to cover it up.
That's quite serious, isn't it?
You mean you didn't know? Then why fake the tests?
Because he was covering up something else. You aren't really Tokal, are you?
No. Tokal was a Romulan child who died at the age of 15. I assumed his identity when I returned to the Empire.
What's your real name?
I am Horak. At least, that is the name my Klingon parents gave me.
But you're biologically Romulan.
I was born on a border outpost. My parents died during a Klingon attack, a reprisal for a Romulan raid on a Klingon colony. I was an infant, and the only survivor. It satisfied the warrior's sense of honor to take me back to the colony and leave me to be raised by a family who had lost a child of their own to the Romulans.
So, you were raised as a Klingon?
That explains the broken ribs.
Klingon children play rough.
Oh, but you eventually escaped.
I did not escape, Doctor. The people of that Klingon colony were the only family and friends I had ever known.
And yet you left.
It was not my destiny to be a farmer.
So you returned to the Star Empire and took the identity of a dead Romulan of about your age and description.
Romulans do not trust Klingons. I would have been taken for a spy.
But then you had to fake your medical examinations, or else the doctors might figure it out.
And that was risky. If you duck your physicians, someday you might become infected with the Leuchter virus and not know it. Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
I would not expect a human to understand. How serious is my condition?
We're still assessing that.
I'll need to do a few more tests, Centurion.
I'm sorry, Salon, but what I'm hearing is you really wanted to join the Corps of Engineers.
Well...
But that didn't work out for you. Now you don't know what to do with yourself. But your uncle's a doctor, so you thought you might give nursing a whirl. Is that it?
Yes. No. Well, I wouldn't put it exactly that way.
You glossed over the time with the Corps of Engineers. Perhaps if I better understood what went wrong there.
I was assigned to a training team on Zeta Pavonis 4. Dilithium had been detected in the mantle, and our team was tasked with excavating a 20-kilometer shaft through the crust. I was assigned to place the explosives.
There is no Zeta Pavonis 4. The system consists of 3 planets and an outer asteroid belt.
Well, it does now. That was a joke.
I see you have your uncle's sense of humor.
Thanks.
That was not a compliment.
So, where do we stand?
His condition is untreatable.
Agreed.
How long does he have?
It's down to hours. If only we had known about the Leuchter virus before the surgery.
There's no point in lamenting what could have been. He's made his mud bath. Now he has to lie in it.
Bridge to sickbay.
Lovely. Sickbay, Henglaar here.
Incoming call for you, Henglaar. It's Commander Vrelick.
Really? I'm surprised you didn't just barge in.
Actually, he tried. I denied him permission to board.
Stu, there may be hope for you yet. You could just take this call for me while you're at it.
No way, Henglaar. I did my bit. The rest is your problem.
Give me a minute, and then pipe it down here.
You got it. Casting out.
There's nothing left to do for our patient but keep him comfortable.
Someone's got to tell him.
Yes, one of you.
I was assuming you would do it.
I have to deal with the commander of the 13th Fleet, whatever that is. And then I need to talk with Salan.
Which one of us should tell him?
I don't know, but I need you three to clear the office. Find yourselves a conference room somewhere and work it out.
Good luck, Henglaar.
Henglaar here.
I've read your report, Doctor.
That's funny. I don't remember having logged it yet.
Come, Doctor, we are both adults. You're going to tell the entire quadrant that my adjutant was raised by Klingons.
It's the truth.
We had an arrangement.
Oh, you mean when I promised to lie for you, I didn't really mean it? It's getting so you can't trust anyone anymore.
You talk like a Cardassian, Henglaar. You stab me in the back, and then profess amazement that I ever trusted you to begin with. Do you know what this is going to do to my reputation? To my position? What is the Centurion's prognosis?
I was wondering when you were going to ask. He has advanced encephalitis. It's past the point of effective treatment. He'll die in a matter of hours.
Release him to me. Then I can have him executed as a spy and salvage something from this mess.
Forget it.
He's going to die anyway. What difference does it make?
Let's just say I'm sentimental.
I won't forget this, Dr. Henglaar. I remember my friends, and I remember my enemies. And someday, we may meet again.
I'm already looking forward to it.
The next time, you may need something that is in my power to grant. Until then, Doctor, I leave you to your truth. May it taste as bitter in your mouth as it does in mine. Vrelick out.
Charming, man.
What a mess. This program was created to work together with the Romulans on medical matters. But when we get our first Romulan patient, the Home Guard won't cooperate with us, we create a scandal, antagonize a Romulan commander, and can't even save the patient.
Surely the fault lies with the Romulans.
Someone's gonna have to talk to the Centurion. Tell him.
Why are you both looking at me?
It needs to be you, Vanas.
It's the only logical conclusion.
I do not concur. What is required here is sensitivity to emotions. Either of you is better equipped than I am in that regard.
Not me. The first time humans and Romulans tried to talk to each other, the result was a bloody war. 2 centuries of patient diplomacy have gotten us to a point where we can meet briefly in the same room without killing each other. But that's about it.
Profto, then.
Romulans trade with us, but they don't trust us.
You speak of trust. I was the one suspicious of Tokal from the start, if you recall.
Which proves you understand him better than we do. Surely you can see the logic in that.
My logic is uncertain where Romulans are concerned.
What Tokal really needs is the company of a fellow Romulan. That's not possible. As a Vulcan, you're the next best thing. Vanas, I've seen you risk your life for a patient on more than one occasion. Surely you can take an emotional risk for this one.
Vulcans do not have emotions, therefore the term emotional risk is not applicable.
Fine. Then what's the problem?
You might learn that there's more to Romulans than you thought.
He needs someone to talk to him. We need to learn how to treat a Romulan patient. This could be our only chance to salvage something good out of this mess.
That seems logical.
Hello, Uncle.
So, how did the interview go?
You already know.
I was giving you a chance to tell your side of the story.
My side? Everything's a battle with you, isn't it? Why do there have to be sides?
All right, then. Why don't you just tell me what happened?
People make mistakes, you know. Everyone screws up sometimes. Some people screw up all the time.
If you could have been just a little more diplomatic.
Diplomatic? Oh, I did not just hear that. From the doctor who used to terrorize young ensigns so badly that they nursed their bruises in private rather than come to you for treatment? Whose lousy bedside manner is legend across 2 quadrants?
Silan?
Even so, people gave you the chance to show what you could do.
People didn't give me anything. I had to earn it.
I wish I could be more like Treya.
Treya? Treya Knapp?
She's smart. She always knows what to say. She can think on her feet.
Treya Knapp is a spoiled brat whose father overindulges her.
Treya is out there right now, taking risks to help others, making a difference.
Treya's chasing through the universe looking for a good time, like 1,000 aimless young people before her. She only plays the do-gooder to cover up the sheer waste of it all.
You don't have the right to talk about Treya like that.
Now you know how I feel when I have to stand there and listen to someone insult my niece.
Really?
You screw up all the time. You don't say the right things. You aren't as smart as Treya Knapp. That's so unfair, Silan. You're much more than you make yourself out to be.
I could only get a chance to prove it.
You will, someday. It's just that today isn't that day.
You know what, Henglaar? A few of the things they say about you aren't completely true.
Says who?
That guy's a jerk anyway.
No argument there. Well, I'm done for the day. You want to get some dinner?
Some other time. I have an appointment in 10 minutes with Lieutenant Cato.
Oh?
Well, while all of you are preoccupied with your mysterious Centurion, he sneaked your power allocation down 5%.
It's a good thing you noticed.
Someone has to keep an eye on this place.
Go get him, girl.
Ah, finally, a doctor. I need treatment.
What is the problem?
My head hurts. I can't concentrate. I can't read. I can't even watch these silly entertainment recordings your ship carries.
I may be able to help you with the pain.
That's it.
There is no available treatment for your other symptoms.
Are you saying you can't cure me?
I am saying that your condition is terminal.
How long?
Your mental state will continue to deteriorate. Over the next few hours, you will gradually fade into unconsciousness. As your brain activity declines, your autonomic functions will begin shutting down, but you will not be aware of this. You will feel nothing.
I want to go back to my ship.
Dr. Henglaar refuses to release you to Commander Vrilek, because the commander has vowed to have you executed as a Klingon spy.
I should have guessed. I can feel my mind fading. What happens afterward?
As I indicated, your autonomic functions will begin to shut down.
No. I mean, is it possible that somewhere, somehow, our minds are reconstructed? That we go on?
An afterlife? I see no logical reason to hypothesize a continued existence.
I am so glad they sent a Vulcan.
Several species are represented on our medical staff. We thought, that since a Romulan brother was not available to share this time with you, the next best option was a Vulcan cousin. I was willing to accept the assignment. May I sit?
It's your sick bay.
It must have been a unique experience to have been raised by Klingons.
I suppose as a Starfleet officer, you've had more experience of Klingons than most Romulans do.
Experience, yes, but I still find them difficult to understand, much as I find my Romulan cousins to be impenetrable at best.
Indeed. To my people, Klingons are little more than animals. It is true that they can be savage warriors, but they can also be subtle poets and fast friends.
But you left your Klingon family and friends to return to an empire you hardly knew.
We Romulans are creatures of duty, Doctor. It is bred in the bone, much as our tendency to be impenetrable.
Yet Vrelek repays your service with threats of execution.
How to explain this to an outsider? It is not duty, Doctor, if one performs it simply because one expects to be rewarded. Even a Ferengi will do that much. Duty, by definition, expects nothing in return.
You are in pain? Your condition is deteriorating faster than I expected. I can give you more medication, but it will further impair your thought processes.
Then do nothing. I want to be alert when I enter Stovacor, where I will laugh at you and your Vulcan logic.
So you believe in Stovacor, but you have not fallen in battle.
No. But neither am I a Klingon. I am a Romulan, and I did my duty to my empire. Stovacor will understand.
That seems logical.
Dr. Vanas.
Yes?
I am pleased to spend this time with a Vulcan cousin. Will you stay a while longer?
Of course.
If you wish, you can whisper your story in my ear.
Which story are you referring to?
Your story. I sense there is more to your relationship to our people than your work aboard this ship.
I had no idea Romulans were such gifted telepaths.
As I said, we're full of surprises. Come, cousin. The dead are famous for keeping secrets.
Very well, if it will ease your passing.
This episode also featured the voice talents of Christopher Gerson as Centurion Tokal, Rick Pike as Commander Stu Karsten, Kim I. Dildine as Dr. Gozat, Eliza Elliott as Unity Station Ensign, Tanya M. Williams as Unity Station Medic, and Michael McConaughey as Commander Vrelek. Theme and score by Mary Kuyumjian. Editor and audio engineer David W. Hill. Medical advisor Farrell Pearson, MD. Technical consultant Jonathan Connor. Associate producer Kestra Oliver. Executive producers Rob Caves and David W. Hill. Henglaar, MD is a Hidden Frontier production.